After Dark. I don't know why I said it like that. Welcome, everybody. It's been a long time. It feels like it anyways. Timberwolves win tonight, and it's because we were positive. That's what I'm going to take from it. We were all positive tonight. It's the only reason they won. But the Timberwolves did win. They beat the Hawks. We win the battle of 500 teams because we were both 34-34 coming into tonight.
Yeah.
I haven't seen... So the Grizzlies, it looks like they were going to win, right?
Grizzlies won.
They did
against Dallas, but the Dallas sat Luka and Kyrie tonight.
But that's good because if I'm remembering correctly, I think that gives us a game of separation between Dallas, which I'm all about separation right now.
Yeah, and the Warriors are playing right now, I think.
But they're beating the Suns by kind of a lot.
Oh my God! Damn it, Kevin
sucks.
Durant, you had one job.
Yeah, I know. But if the Suns are able to come back, that would be amazing because then we'd be tied with the Warriors. I don't know what our record is on the season tiebreaker wise, but either way, we'd have the same record as them, tied for the 6th seed. So that would be nice. Not that the 6th seed matters tonight necessarily, but winning is more important. And the Timberwolves really took care of business the whole game today. It was a pretty fun game to watch for the most part.
It was a great game. It was a good learning experience too. I got to sit down, relax, and not stress about too much, and see the others kind of do things out of their norm. 136 to 115. How about that? 0 to 100. We never let off the gas pedal all too much. It was great to see the others too, kind of play up to their standards, if not more. And I thought the game plan of getting to Jaden early was pretty funny, just because they had stuck Trae Young on Jaden, and another weapon in our belt. Of when the shit hits the fan, who could we go to? There's another player right there that's ready and feasting. Yeah,
it was interesting in the beginning of the game. We really were attacking Trae at every opportunity we could. And what did Jaden had for 10 points in the first quarter or something crazy like that?
Yeah,
it was wild.
It's cool. It's cool to see that, and also great kind of awareness by our coaching staff to keep running what's obviously a flaw in their defensive scheme.
Yes.
And it lasted all of 3 or 4 minutes before they switched it up.
It was good. Yeah. And then Ant had a pretty good game. Honestly, he was a little inefficient for the most part. I was just mostly happy to see that he didn't get thrown out of the game, because that was really sad the last time we played. And he got 2 techs, and it was really, you're doing this here?
Hometown. Yeah, it was really sad.
But we did get some good dunks out of him.
3 pretty massive dunks tonight. Yeah. And I was surprised that his shot wasn't falling, but he was still kind of very aggressive to get towards the rim, and he got a lot of free throw attempts and a lot of calls going his way. It was pretty cool. Some emphatic blocks. It's just incredible to see. Are we down with the what are they what will we call them? The stocks? Yeah, the blocks and steals. Yeah. What about that nickname that Jim Peterson called them?
I can't remember. I think Jaden McDaniel's fan account or something on Twitter was talking about this. I can't remember what the name was. But no, there's no nicknames that work for Jaden for some reason. Anything with Jaden in them, it just doesn't work. And Big Mac, I call him Big Mac all the time, but I don't love that nickname. It's just because he's the bigger Mac than Jaden, the other little Mac. So it's it's more just to distinguish who's who and less of I love this nickname. So it's just weird. I don't know what a good nickname for it is. They were trying to say the Wasp at a point, or Seatbelt. Or
Seatbelt, right.
I don't know. I just like Defensive Player of the Year. That's the one I want to call him.
DPOY boys.
Yes. It was a good game though. I had fun watching this. Like you said, I just I was able to kind of relax this game. And part of that was because we got out to an early lead, which doesn't necessarily always mean success for us. But we just kind of there were moments throughout the game, and we'll get this once we get to the tier list, but we talked about this in our Discord. Shout out the Discord. End of game, once we got to that moment where in the fourth quarter, Finch had a lineup out there that was all deep bench players. It was like Nathan Knight, Matt Garza. What am I saying? Luca Garza, and just like all of those kind of. I think Minot was maybe out there, but it was no starters, no Kyle Anderson, no anybody to like really calm things down. And the Hawks came out very hot in the beginning of the fourth quarter, but then we brought back in Conley and Gobert, and it was like adults were there. And it was suddenly like, okay, Conley scored like 6 or 8 points or something like that, like all quickly after they came back, just killed all the momentum. It's the stuff that we've always wanted from D'Lo and other previous point guards in the past, where it's like, we just need a steady hand to take us to the end. And that's what we got. And Gobert did that as well.
Yeah, we are a wild team. In previous games, previous years, we would lose this game. In previous games, we would show a lack of maturity. And tonight showed like desperation and quick with the rotation, sub out the old, back with our, our veteran laden team. And with the adults in the room, carried us to we don't have to go back down single digits after we were up almost 30. It was like almost a 30-point game, and it got down to like 11 or 9 or so. Yeah, it was a little scary at that very moment. But yeah, it was nice to see the change. Nice to see the timeouts. Nice to see the inflection point back in our favor. Conley. There'll be games that are not like this, but Conley was on all game. What was really cool is like he was aggressive with this 3-point shot, and he didn't have to take 10 or 11 like D'Lo has to. I want to stop the D'Lo comps, but it's going to be like that for a while, I think.
It is. It just has to be, yeah.
But 6 assists to 1 turnover, that is usually not, the former point guard's stat line. 21 points on exceptional efficiency, also not a typical stat line for our former point guard. It's really cool to have that in our arsenal, in our belt, in our seat belt. In just like our knapsack. I don't know, right? It's awesome, and it's the reason why is because the ball is going to be in his hands when Cat comes back, and Conley's got to make the decisions, and Conley makes very deceptive, clean plays. Like you think he's going to pass it to Gobert, and it's a floater, and he pulls it back, and he does he drives right and shoots left. It's really cool, and the way that he and Ant are riffing off each other is working well, and the way that he's reading the game too, passing to Jaden on opportune times, not to like have Jaden like guess how he should play. It feels really natural. Coupled that with Kyle Anderson being like the point guard himself, like Mr. Triple-Double, it's really nice to have these players that are assets, not just there as veterans and not just there as old ass players to lead our team. Okay. You sent a link in our Discord, shout out to the Discord, 2015, Wiggins, Levine, and Jang, and everyone's kind of coming into some sort of, oops, we drafted all stars, kind of crazy potential. Playing against the Hawks and had that monster 33-point game. It was there. It was that moment, right? Where it was like, oh my God, look at the roster around us. It's full of just Andre Miller and KG and
Tayshaun Prince
and other people that are like, they can't play in the NBA anymore. But we're starting them all. And the players that we have right now are kind of getting to that point, but they're like, 3 years away from that point. You know what I mean? And Kyle Anderson's not like old. He's like 28 or something.
Oh yeah. Yep.
So
same with Torian. Torian's not that old either. I think
Torian's like 25 or like 26.
Yeah, it's like crazy. And he's such a steady hand for us, which is like insane. You're right. I mean, we just have vets on the team that are contributing and not on the court as well as off the court. So it's not the same, like, because I think we might have even had KG on the team at that point too in that 2015 game. So it's like, we have all these vets, and it's like, I mean, KG at that point was not really like benefiting us on the floor. Like he had a couple fun moments, like a block at the end of a quarter once, and then he dunked on Blake Griffin or whatever. But like that was fun. But like, how much did that contribute to winning? Not that much. So, I mean, we just have had. We've got a good roster. We talked about it before the season when we thought we might be the 2 seed or the 1 seed. And we talked about how like the bench that we have legitimately is one of the deeper benches that we've had. And of course, we've gone up and down this season because this season is a roller coaster of a season in many ways. But we really do have a good, like, this is one of the better vet systems, bench systems that the Timberwolves have had. And maybe that's not saying much since the Timberwolves, but it is the best. I mean, it's one of the best that we've had. So
top down, it's the best roster we've ever had, and that's with the KG era. So, that is a lot to take in. And so the expectations have been written, and we haven't met those expectations. And that's okay. It's been a really struggle. It's been a struggle this year. It's been a missed opportunities like galore. And for every win that we could have had, we've won games that we should have lost, like some certain games, and the ways that we have closed out games has been really remarkable to see. The growth between, the beginning of the year and now for Ant and Jaden has been remarkable. I don't think anyone have seen the efficiency that Jaden's been producing these days. Getting the all NBA nods from, even Paul George himself have said something really kind of crazy about Jaden lately. It's cool to be a part of this roster, this team, this like potential rise, right? And you can kind of see it in like kind of writing how this team could be like a contender, maybe not for years to come, but like maybe next year. And I hate saying the maybe next year, but like it gets me kind of riled up. And the main reason why we're not talking about it could be this year is because we've lost Karl-Anthony Towns for like 45 games.
That actually, okay, so I don't know if you were meaning to go to this, but that's a good segue into a question that I had for you. I've been playing this conversation over and over in my head, deciding what I would say. But in regards to Cat, he's obviously, you're seeing videos of him coming back, doing some like 1-on-0 play or like 2-on-0, whatever, like very low contact and stuff like that. But we have 13 games left in the season now? 14? It's like a very short amount, not that many games. If you are the coach, GM, whoever's in charge of making this decision, is Cat coming back for you this season, even if he's healthy, or are you keeping him out?
Wow. I really hope it's not fan service right now. I really hope it's not like get the season ticket holders on lock and like get their playoff tickets and raise the prices of everything because Cat's coming back and Adam Silver's in town. Get the prices up for that shit. No, he needs to be 100% ready, and he needs to like the next year is more important than this year. Getting into the playoffs is great and everything. Seeing Ant take over this team has been kind of like a cherry on top of like what was a season of turmoil. But if we throw Cat in for 2 games, like what the hell is that, right?
Exactly.
That could break everything. That could break everything. And so really my main thing is if he comes back, he's coming off the bench. We can't disrupt this flow that we have with Kyle Anderson and Gobert. I think that 2-man pairing is so nice. We got to keep like take advantage of that right now, and work on everything in the offseason and get Cat to speed for that. The next year's run.
Yeah, I think you kind of just like I know this isn't what fans are going to want to hear, but like I think you just chalk it. You just say he's done for the season. Even if you make a deep playoff run, it's like you're going to integrate him back into the team. Then look how it was in the beginning of the season. We were still learning. We were like fumbling around like crazy, trying to figure out how like who gets the ball to who and like how does this work with Gobert. And right now, I think this is the best way to go about it. About building Gobert into this team is now with Mike Conley. They are getting that pick and roll game set up, the lobs, the bounce passes, the floaters, all that. They're getting that established with the players that we have, like Ant, Torian, even Nas to an extent. Like we're getting that set up. And then when Karl comes back, then he can kind of slot in as more of like a kick it out to shoot the 3 kind of a player instead of the Karl that Karl wants to be, where he is like LeBron, because that's what he wants. He wants to be the driver. He wants to be the passer. He wants to be the 3-point shooter. He wants to be the shot blocker. He wants to be everything. And like, if he could just slot into that current roster as we have it as a shooter, that could be good. But I don't even if he was perfectly in line with what we're saying right now, like, I don't want to do that this year. like, even though our chances are far less to win a title or even win a playoff series, let alone a play-in game, without him, I'd much rather just see, okay, what can Ant, Gobert, and I guess Conley do, or Jaden?
Yeah.
What can they all do? There's just no reason to bring him back. It's just going to be stress for him. It's going to be stress for everybody. And we have 13 games left. There's not enough time. And and I'm not going to put him in for the last 2 games of the season, because realistically, I don't think there's going to be a thing where it's like, oh yeah, well, we're going to be in this seed because of that. We could be out of the playoffs, or we could be even maybe possibly fighting for like the 5th seed. So, there's just too many possibilities. And I think throwing Carl into that is just stupid. And sure, maybe it is fan service. Maybe it's the thing that you're talking about, getting tickets or whatever. But
I'm just messing around and saying nonsense. But like, I just don't want to be false hopes for not even just the fans, but like the players involved. Like, the game previous to this where we shouldn't have lost, to Brooklyn, and it was crazy. Maybe it's because they're thinking, oh, Cat's coming back. Ooh,
yeah, exactly.
We get to kind of relax a bit because Cat's gonna carry us. No, we gotta pretend that Cat's not coming back, and yeah. We gotta pretend that Cat's not coming back, and kind of pretend that this is the team that's gonna take it to the top. And pressures on the management, pressures on the staff, to get Cat ready, game ready, and not just 15 minutes, but he might have to carry a lot of load, whatever. But how do you deal with injuries? Because you don't want it to persist. You want it to come back and haunt him. And big man can be multiple seasons of lingering issues. So treat him right so he doesn't come back with that issue.
Yeah. I was hearing some things about his injury too, where it's obviously we've just been told what a calf strain this entire time. But obviously
grade 3, I think.
Yeah. So there's all these different degrees and different ways that it can affect a person. Everybody's different, but the worry is that it could start affecting other things like an Achilles or some kind of tendons in the knee or the ankle or wherever.
Oh yeah.
And especially as a big man, especially how Carl plays, that is a real concern, because he is a bowling ball when he goes into the lane, and obviously he has all those charges called against him. He's just super, super aggressive. He's not just a 3-point shooter, which if he was, we wouldn't have these same concerns. But he's just a big boy that likes to really move it.
Yeah. And speaking of big boy, I had some knee issues the other day, and my other knee gave me problems.
Yeah, exactly.
My other knee is having issues. I'm trying to take the pressure off of the other knee, overcompensating for that knee. He's going to be in his head. He has so many things in his head already. He's going to be in his head. I can't land on this knee this way because it's going to re-injure. He's going to, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome to see him around the team. That's my favorite thing that's been happening recently. Is it's just good vibes, good energy.
Yeah.
He's there supporting the team. I was very worried that he wasn't going to be a part of this whole movement, and have a step back and have him recover off of on his own time, which is however people need to. It's fine, but it's really nice to have him be a part and a cheerleader for everyone, because he gets up for Luka, Luka, he gets up for everything. So it's really nice to see.
Yeah.
We had a game tonight, and it was a really fun game from everyone involved. No real bad takes, no real bad stints from any player, one here or the other. And what's really nice is Austin Rivers doesn't need to play. Jalen Noel doesn't need to play anymore. We have our roster kind of set. It's 8-9 deep, and the West is wild, man. Wiggins is out on MIA. They're resting players. Kevin Durant's out indefinitely. Jaws and his issues, and he's in Florida right now. So the West is still insanely open. The Lakers have the easiest schedule remaining in the league. Of course they do, and we have one of the hardest. It's for us to take, and it's also for us to lose. This is an exceptional time to be a Timberwolves fan, cheering for them, be positive about it, because this season has been up and down, right? This season has been pretty wild. But through all that adversity, we got a lot of growth, and maybe unexpected growth and unexpected finds, with Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and having Kyle Anderson being such a boon to this roster. We wouldn't have known had he not been a starter,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Godfrey says Cat should be in a wheelchair, which He might have started in a wheelchair, honestly. And then Sylvis T, who I caught you in a Lakers video commenting on my comment, by the way, because we're obsessed with D'Lo post-game shit. Off-topic question: do you think D'Lo will be back in LA next year, or will get done for Kyrie? I think the latter, and that'll hurt D'Lo.
That will hurt him. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but it really kind of feels. I don't know. I mean, he played really well for him the other day, but then he had a bad fourth quarter. You know, it was just. I mean, it's just what we were talking about earlier with Mike Conley. Like Mike Conley did so well tonight in the fourth quarter for us, and like D'Lo has done that once in a while, but not consistently for us. So it'll depend. I think if they make the playoffs, especially if they finish above us. You'll never see me again, by the way, if they finish above us in the standings. You'll never.
Yeah.
It's over. Wolves After Dark is done. But yeah, we'll see. So
we're already running on empty. So
tier list time?
Yeah, I think so. And while we're getting the tier list kind of ready, still probably missing Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and that's okay. Mike Conley needs to be like this for the rest of the season. I don't think we can actually win a whole lot without this aggressiveness from Mike Conley. So it was so exceptional to see him, push the pace, push the rock. Transition was really good this year, this game. And it's like this year, actually, it felt like this team wouldn't have had the transition opportunities that they would have had because our team is just a bunch of slow-footed, players and Ant and Jaden, right? And it's turned out to be like one of our biggest strengths is transition. So get those defensive boards, leak out, push pace. It's great. Conley at the helm pushes pace. Nickeil Alexander-Walker pushes pace. We get a lot of transition buckets. We play with each other, get 30 or so assists. How many assists we get? 39 assists. We're going to do okay. Yeah.
If we're doing that, I feel very good about the rest of the season and postseason at that point. I mean, we're making it deep if we can do that.
Yeah, we were up 24 points. So we were up like 26 or something. And Ant hadn't made a 3 yet.
Yeah, he didn't make his 3 until the last 2 shots of the game.
So crazy. The games that we've blown out teams, we were just shooting insanely well, right? Even that Sacramento Kings game that was so awesome, we were shooting lights out that game.
Yeah,
we can't rely on that shot always. We had 12 threes tonight, and we had pretty decent percentage, but 12 threes against Memphis or against Golden State or whatever, that's we're still probably down 12 points against them on threes alone.
Probably.
Right? So we have to find other ways to score. And tonight was another great example of what we can do as a roster. I want to get hyped for this team right now because of how much ability we have with getting to the rim. Kyle Anderson, Torian Prince, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, right? Gobert, just instant, free throws whenever he needs to. It's awesome.
Yeah. Especially if Gobert starts using 2 hands all the time. After you made that comment in the Discord, shout out the Discord, he did it again. And it was like, oh my gosh, please just use 2 hands. Stop trying to be fancy with it. He has these Towns tendencies where he really likes to show it off. And it's just no, stop. Just do the right play. Don't need to be fancy. Don't need to make highlights. Just make it happen.
Touche Godfrey. Sacramento wasn't the best defensive team. They let us shoot however they wanted to shoot. Same thing with Atlanta. They're not that great on defense. They let us have whatever. Trey, you can't hide Trey. He's definitely a part of the rotation. They tried and it didn't work, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy that they should be probably a much better defensive team than they're looking at because they have John Collins and DeJounte Murray, DeAndre Hunter, Okongwu. They should be awesome defensively.
Yeah,
but they're not.
Yeah, they made some just Timberwolves level errors tonight. I felt it was just they just didn't care at times. They were just kind of floating through the game, and then it became time, and they maybe get a little bit of a comeback. But then it was okay, well, we are just gonna put our foot down, and we're not gonna let that happen.
That's true.
No Noel, no Rivers is very refreshing. You're not wrong, the big boy. You are not wrong. I was just looking at that on the DNPs, and I was like, "Oh man, this is enjoyable, isn't it? This is fine living."
So we'll make some updates to this tier list for the next game or so. Just a heads up, I'll be out of town for a week, coming up here in a day or two, and then so we might be missing a couple games, or you have to show your support with the Cameron and Wolves After Dark fam.
I may be doing some solo shows. I think I actually have a couple days coming up that I'm free.
Cool. So make sure that you tune in for that, and join our Discord, because there's some fun banter here and there, as well as just conversations about the league and the team, and it's nice to have everyone around.
And I threatened the big boy with banning him if the Lakers pass us. That's another part of it too.
Yeah, join us to get banned.
Yeah, join us. I'll ban you. All right, who's up first?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about all the players. It's nice to see that Wendell Moore, Josh Minott looked great in his 2 minutes. That was awesome, hitting a 3 on an awkward looking shot.
I didn't even realize Moore played.
More played. Got an assist. But let's do Luka Garza as a start, because the bench was probably 4 players. And Luka Garza, 14 points in 18 minutes, 6 for 7 from the floor, including a couple offensive rebounds. Also 5 fouls. A grade for our boy. Yeah, and some of them were just like Jaden level. He was just standing there.
Oh god, but there were some bad ones too.
We laugh at that stuff. It's going to bite us in the butt in certain situations. But anyways, great for our boy Luka Garza in 3, 2, 1. I give it a B.
I really was going to give him an A until you said 5 fouls, and I'm like, okay, that's kind of crazy. But
as good as he was in the first half.
Yeah, there was one where he just literally slapped the player too. I remember, and I was like, oh, okay, this is there was no purpose to this. It was basically a take foul, and they didn't call it. But I was like, okay, he's really doing that.
Garza's
yes, exactly. He just slapped until he got the foul. It was like, okay. No, I mean, seriously though, I just love having Luka Garza out there. He just makes plays, and I know this sounds so stupid, but it's valid coming from the Timberwolves. He just makes real plays, there's just plays that look like basketball player plays out there that are casual, nonchalant. There was this one pass where it was kind of like a crowded pass to him under the basket from, I think, Baby Mac, and it was I felt like Rudy even, or other players, or Kat or Nas or whoever would have maybe bobbled the pass or really struggled with it. And he just very quickly goes up and lays it in. And he's covered. It's not like he's open. He just makes those plays. And he also has this insane ability to just be where the rebounds are. He just the weirdest bounces will come to him and he somehow gets the rebound, or close to the rebound at least. It's so weird. And I'm just all about it. And I don't know if it's seriously just he just has a knack for it, or if he's just insanely lucky. but I love it. So
it's just in a lot of ways it's him wanting it more than anything. He knows where balls tend to go off the rim, so go to the spot where the ball is, box the other guy out. Our starting big man does not do that. So I will say that it's great to see that. It reminds me of a cross between Al Jefferson and Kevin Love, where he is where the ball is, because he knows where the ball goes, because he's where the ball wants to be. It's I love that. Anyways, I really like him in the future of our team too. Maybe current iteration, Nas is probably better for our team, but we need to grow up defensively from our bench right now. And with players like Josh Minott and Wendell Moore coming into the fold next year, they're going to be our rookies next year. They're going to have some rotation minutes, because we're not going to have the draft picks that we would have had otherwise. So having these guys come into the fold will be kind of nice. I like that system. I like that. It's a weird farm system, Twins-esque farm system. Anywho, Baby Mac, Jordan McLaughlin hit a 3. That was pretty cool. We were up big when he did hit 3.
But that was
his only bucket.
I loved that. That was the shot. He just took it so confidently, too. Yeah. It was okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was cool. And 5 assists, 3 steals in 18 minutes. Welcome back, Baby Mac. Great for our boy in 3, 2, 1, C.
Oh, I guess maybe it is a C, because that's kind of what we hope for. I don't know, but he's been not as good over he's also been injured this year a little bit, but
Yeah, he's been injured.
I guess C is probably fair. The thing that I'm thinking about is the lob that he did to Gobert, which I was like, whoa, that is amazing.
It was sweet.
That was really sweet.
Yeah, we have some really stupid like rotations and compositions out there, but it could look great with Gobert and a lob to him, right? Anything can look great, I think, with Gobert out there. It has potential at least. I think that lob to Gobert was awesome. But he and Garza were part of the issue that led the Atlanta Hawks back into contending, at least for pretending to be in this game.
Yeah.
Nickeil Alexander-Walker, 17 points. Dare I say his worst game in a Timberwolves jersey? And I don't even know if it was bad. 5 points, 2 assists, steal, 3 rebounds. I don't know. He made a 3. That's sick. Like, boy in blue, I give him a C.
Yeah, probably a C. I mean, because like realistically, what did we expect out of Not much. Like when we got him in the trade, like we talked about it again. A shout out to Discord, but we talked about it and we were kind of like, he's just a throw-in realistically, and like maybe he turns out to be some amount of a positive asset. And then he just went off for the first few games for us, and it looked like we had completely just like unlocked some new player. But no, this was a more back down to earth game. But I still do like him out there. You know, I don't hate it. But and since we don't have him on here, I'm not going to put him up. But did we give him a grade? I don't even know.
Yeah, C or B, whatever.
Yeah, somewhere in the C range.
Not comparing ourselves to the Golden State Warriors, because I don't think we'll ever get to that point. But Golden State Warriors had to, basically trade or let go of James Wiseman. They got in a ridiculous pick from that whatever, draft trade swap that we did or whatever with them or whatever. And that was like Kuminga and like Josh and what's his name? Moses
Moody, yeah.
And then the other guy, I just said his name. Wiseman.
Yeah.
I forgot his first name. That's okay. Wiseman is doing all right in Detroit, but they had to wait for him, right? They had to wait for the development to come into fold, and they couldn't wait for him. They had to trade him. Now he's getting opportunities. He's looking like a good stat guy right now on a bad team.
Oh, yeah.
Right? That's usually the Minnesota Timberwolves, right? Usually we get bad players that do stat-only driven stuff, and they look a lot better than the actual player they are, right? You couldn't get on the court for the Golden State Warriors. Why I say that is because the development of our team right now is through these like fillers. Nickeil Alexander-Walker probably like could have looked great in New Orleans, but they had Drew Holiday. Could have looked great in Utah, but they had like Mike Conley and all these other players that needed time and players that probably had a desire to be on the court or a will to be on the court more. And like getting a player like Nickeil Alexander-Walker is awesome in a throw-in. That's not a throw-in. Like they knew they were just like the deceiving part was we just didn't know who he was as a player.
Yep.
But they knew.
Yeah. They did.
And we're gonna get lucky one of these times, and I think that's what we were. We also got lucky because like maybe that next year he might not look as good, but like right now he's looking like the role he wants to be.
Yeah. Yep.
Taurean Prince, 22 minutes, 9 points, 2 assists. Not a whole lot of anything stat wise, but he had a steal. But the main thing was he's on the court, he's making plays. 22 minutes, 4 or 9 from the floor. It's good. It's good for my bench boy, our bench leader probably.
Yeah.
And I don't know, a grade for Taurean Prince?
C?
Probably C. Yeah.
I mean, this is what we expect out of him. Nothing crazy bad, nothing insanely good. It was just average. Fine. Good.
Yeah, and I don't mind him playing maybe like a subpar role because what's great these days is that he hasn't had to be the playmaker as much because we have Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Baby Mac kind of back, right? And so as his expectations have been kind of lessened, that's good because at one point he was probably overexerting himself, got injured, and all that other nonsense. To the starters, and before we get to the starters, I'd just like to say thank you for joining us. It's awesome that we had this bit of a delay in getting live today, but it's fine. Thank you for being patient with us, and don't forget to like, subscribe, share, whatever the fuck you want to do. Comment on the video. It's been nice. What's up? Shout out to Ian.
Ian, shout out.
And join our Discord. It doesn't say that in the blue little bar below, but please do because it's fun. when it is fun, it's fun.
Good point. That should be in there.
Yeah, passive aggressiveness doesn't leave Minnesota. I'm just kidding. Okay, 5 starters. Believe it or not, Jaden McDaniels only played 25 minutes, 19 points, 8 for 10 from the field, efficiency galore. Made his only 3, went to the line, which is a rare thing for Jaden. Had a steal as well, and 2 block shots, but also his pen in foul trouble. But our boy, the most underrated player in the NBA, a grade for him in 3, 2, 1.
BA?
BA?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like he had a really good beginning of the game, and then obviously defensively, he's having these insane blocks where he's just like smacking it off the backboard. It's just really exciting to be having. We talked about this earlier. Every beginning of the season, I get all upset with Jaden, and then I want to trade him. By the way, here we go. Join the Discord at the bottom now. But I get down, and it seems like he's a player that throughout the season gets he just continues to grow and get better. And the more games that we have, the better he starts to play. So deeper in the season, last season in the playoffs, he was playing really well for us, and throughout the season. But it seems like we're kind of getting to that point where Jaden is just consistently giving us really good Jaden output, where we're getting that defense, we're getting the occasional offense, and just players talking about him. We got Paul George talking about him and how about he's getting noticed by players. So that's fun. It's great to have a player like that. And he just adds an element to our starting lineup that is dangerous. If he can be an offensive threat, that is super, super dangerous and will win us many games.
Yeah. I was gonna make this point when we were talking about Cat, and I kind of forgot because whatever, and I'm gonna bring it back while we're talking about Jaden. This is a bit of a rose-tinted glasses take, but we have a pretty stellar looking starting 5, if you ask me, when we have Cat back. I wouldn't say all 5 of them are all-stars, but all 5 of them are potential all-stars, if not already or former all-stars, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or future all-NBA players, right? I'm just being crazy in my take. That could help Cat because in a lot of ways, Cat had to take on the burden. Cat had to take on the load, right? And now, with the influx of talent, with Jaden coming into a scoring prowess, you can rely on him scoring. So Cat can take a step back. Cat can be more reliant on passing to Jaden and feel like it's going to go in or make the right play. Because in earlier iterations of this team, it was Jimmy Butler, Derrick Rose, or Cat. There was no one else touching the ball. Wiggins in the corner, right? And Wiggins wasn't moving because he was I don't know, I can't read Thibodeau, So
yeah.
It's cool to see Jaden kind of being aggressive when the ball's in his hands. He's had negative time to sit back and watch his own game grow. He's had to develop live.
Mm-hmm.
He was thrust in the starting lineup immediately, and he's had to learn live. And I think that's been a huge he's even said it to himself. His development has been exponentially grown as a young player because maybe he'd hit the stride normally when he's 27 or 28, but he's peaking now because he's had this much time to develop. Most young players don't get that time, especially late in the lottery, if not late in the first round. Well, Godfrey's saying something crazy. But
Godfrey, maybe. I actually, as the days go on, the more I'm convinced that's going to happen.
Oh wow!
We won't get into it now, but I think that will.
Good vibes only. What was that, Jaden? Good vibes.
We have too many good bigs on the team.
Too good bigs, yeah.
Too many.
Good. Conley, 28 minutes, 21 points on 9 for 13 efficiency, 3 threes, 6 assists, 1 steal, 4 fouls for Conley. A grade for Conley in 3, 2, 1. A.
Yeah, I hesitated. I was going to say B for a second just because there were some fouls and oops, gosh. I don't know. That he had a pretty good game. No, he had an A game. It was an A game for sure. I don't know why I'm hating. It was good. I was talking good about him earlier. The fourth quarter especially just was it was just huge to have an adult there to really calm everything down and get us to a win. He got us to the win because we would have lost it. Just like you said, previous Timberwolves teams would not have won this game. We would have lost this game. It would have been one of those classic meltdowns where we question our fandom, and it would have been terrible. But Mike Conley was here, and it saved us.
He had a layup. He had a floater. Quinn Snyder was making laps after everything. It was so funny. Cool. Rudy Gobert, 29.5 minutes, 14 points, 8 rebounds, 2 of them offensive. He went to the free throw line 5 times, made most of them. A pretty low efficiency game from him. However, 4 assists, 3 block shots, 1 steal for the Eiffel Tower himself. Stifle Tower. Yeah. Great for our boy Rudy in 3, 2, 1.
C.
I was going to say B.
Interesting. Only reason I say C is that this is like I expect this game out of him somewhat. This isn't like I wouldn't necessarily want to give him praise for like saying, yeah, you went above and beyond today, because he didn't, at least for what we expect out of him. Like there were good plays. He had a couple nice lob finishes and like he had a couple amazing blocks. But the French rejection. But like, I mean, and again, this is where the tier list gets funny because like, I'm not saying he had a bad game. I'm just saying that he had a Rudy Gobert game, which was a C. So I actually, and also I was a little disappointed because I thought he had more rebounds than I looked, and he only had 8, partially because I was doing my fake bets beforehand, and they said he was going to get above 10. So that's part of my reason, but my imaginary money. But
he's a C because he didn't make me money.
He didn't make me imaginary money because I can't even sports bet. But yeah, so my imaginary money is mad, so he gets a C from me.
Yeah, the only reason why I think I give him a B is because I don't think he played himself out of a game. Sometimes these games, like I get so irrationally upset about how he plays, but I think he was actually playing the system really well. I thought he was playing his matchups well. Trae Young is going to play exceptional over the bigs like this because he has a big like him like that on his roster. Like he plays against Capella and Okongwu daily in practice or whatever, and in warmups, and he has the perfect floater game to counteract what Gobert does. And so, I wouldn't say Trae Young is like one of one, but he's like one of a few players in the league that will absolutely abuse what Gobert does. Gobert has to take a little bit more pride in how he wants to block or contest shots than what he's been showing. But also, I like the idea of prolonging his health and not over-exerting himself. And I think that he had a stumble early in the game. I think he tripped over someone's foot. He was potentially going to not play, and he played the whole game. He played 30 minutes. That's awesome. And in a weird twist of fate, Naz Reid wasn't ready tonight. So, like, we actually needed him tonight, and he performed, I think, at level, if not a little bit slightly above for me, because I didn't know if he was going to be, super game ready tonight. Yeah, dunks are a stat probably recorded by certain nerds, and I do know that he is top 5 in terms of dunks this season per games played. So I don't know why I know this random thing. Maybe I'm making it up out of hot air, but I do know he's like of like 3 or 4 players that are doing it the most. Okay, at least we have a dunker, but for every Gobert dunk, I get screamed when he's trying to lob it in. So
yeah,
float it in or finger roll it in. Okay, cool. Any other comments on Gobert?
No, but I did have a video. I'm just trying something real quick, so I'm going to share this and see how this works. Let's see. I shared it from my phone to my computer, and it's a picture. It's a video. I'm such a boomer. It's a video of Gobert catching up and blocking Trae Young at a point tonight, which I thought was
from teammates, but not a very good shot.
Oh yeah, I love that.
Yes. Oh, great. That's perfect.
Yeah, and then a stupid ass non-call on Jaden, but whatever.
Yeah, every call on Jaden is just ridiculously frustrating. I can't handle it. But all right.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for doing that.
Cool. I gave him a B.
Yeah. Next up, I will go ahead and go with Anthony Edwards. 36 minutes, 32 points, 2 block shots, steal, 5 assists, 8 rebounds. He went to the line 10 times.
Respect the
Hit
hay.
2 threes, 2 out of 10. Yeah, he respect the hay. Apparently, Scott Foster's all about the hay and the Jake Scraft t-shirts. And 12 for 25 from the floor, which is a hair below 500.
Which
For
is
a team who is a
honestly
hair above
better.
500.
It's better than I was expecting with how, I mean, at the beginning of the game, he was missing a lot of threes, but he was making a lot of
0 for
twos.
6 at the
So
half.
it was like, what was he at the half?
0 for 6 from 3 at the half.
Yeah, it was not good, but he was dunking like crazy. Ian is here live.
Camp the chopped ham? What?
Rare just sighting. Hey, I'm busy. I have things going on, but I'll be here. I think I should be here for a lot of the upcoming games. Also, there's this wild possibility. So this is off topic. I'm sorry. I'm going to New Orleans with my dad from April, I think 14th through the 18th.
Nice.
Which is the beginning of the play-in, or the end of the play-in, beginning of the playoffs. So there's this possibility if the Pelicans and the Timberwolves both end up in the play-in, they may play that game in New Orleans, and I may be there. And I may be able to go to the Timberwolves versus Pelicans with my dad, maybe, in the that'd be crazy.
That'd be fun. I'll make a contingency plan with my dad. We're gonna go to we're gonna go to LA.
Yeah, there we go. Oh my gosh, yeah.
And buy courtside tickets and for the loss in LA.
I can't even entertain that thought. We have to not talk about that. That's so sad. If the Lakers, I'm telling you, there's people are getting banned in the Discord. So shout out the Discord if that happens.
Yeah, it's awesome. I don't know, like it's so dumb to say absolutely nothing about it because but he's incredible.
He's done this so many games now.
Yeah.
I mean,
the level of competency through a young dude who still is making mistakes, still has years of development to grow and mature into something. The fact that he's already here, he's like already has accepted the role. The keys are in his hands. Like he's doing a lot for this team. Where would we be without Anthony Edwards this season? Like, I don't know.
We'd be nowhere. We would be a lottery team without a lottery pick. Like, we also probably wouldn't have Rudy Gobert. There's so many things. Like, Ant is just the heartbeat of this team, the leader of this team, and it's the way it should be.
It's the way it should be.
It's just, yeah, we're nowhere without Ant this year.
Wow.
And he's 21, right? 21, 22 or something like that. Yeah. Like, this is crazy. We have so much more Ant to be had. And that's, I won't go off topic too much, but like the one thing that's made me feel a little bit good about some of these, I don't even want to say darker times, because realistically, since the trade deadline or something, we've had, or maybe it was the beginning of the year, I can't remember. We've had like one of the better records in the NBA. Like, I think we're like 19-13 or something like that since the beginning of the year. Like, that's good, and we've had, like, I've had these moments where I've been like really down after some losses.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, I'm mainly down because of the parity that's happening in the West, where everybody is just all in like the same spot. Like, so a loss feels like 5 losses in a row. And especially when you lose like 2 or 3 in a row, it feels like you've literally lost an entire month. Yeah. But
to teams like Orlando or Charlotte or Houston, right? Like
exactly. Yeah. You're losing these games to teams that like you should not be losing to. But, if you're really looking through like rose-tinted glasses, it's like, 1, the West is crazy this year. But 2, we have so many years of Anthony Edwards left. We like, even if you just chalk this season and say, you know what, Cat's out, we're just going to struggle in the playoffs. We got bad seeding. We didn't play well during the regular season, play well enough to have a high seed. And even if you have a high seed, like, what does it really matter? Because all the teams are really good in the West. So it's like, 1 through 12 are really good teams and they win on any given night. So, at the very least, we have Ant for the years to come. And that's really all I care about. All the other stuff is just extra. I just care about Ant being on the team. That's my main focus.
Yeah, he's someone who I'm behind. Like I want to be led by Ant. I may have trusted the Butler years in years past, but like a new era of basketball has emerged out of that, and I trust the wheels, the car with Ant, and like please take us wherever you need us to go. Like we'll be right with you. And I think what's really cool is like why a Kyle Anderson signed with us, why a Torian Prince, re-signed with us, is because of what they could see as a future role in developing as well as being a part of a movement with Ant. Like if we didn't have that, if we had this like, passive aggressive player with all this potential that didn't do anything wearing number 22, they might have looked elsewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. I think they would have. I think a lot of these players and just so many decisions were made off of Ant being on the team. But
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And I just love the philosophy. Like, I think this kind of goes back to like Tibbs' years too. It's like win now, win as much as you can, because this team is not granted. Like, and it's not going to be like this next year. So do as much as you can to win at all costs. And like winning breeds a culture of winning, brings more players that want to win, brings players that want to play for a winning team. Like it's like almost that easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
right.
we have the, we don't have the benefit of location. We have the benefit of having, an all-star like forever player, So.
Yeah.
But to cap things off with the nightcap of Kyle Anderson, 37 minutes, 14 points, 12 assists, 10 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. The man does it all. Hit a 3, hit some free throws. Only took 6 shots, by the way. A1 performance. Like, I think this team, we were just talking, giving Anthony Edwards his flowers or whatever, which is a weird new term that people are using a lot. So I'm just like saying it now. But like Kyle Anderson was the motor tonight, man. Yeah. Kyle Anderson was the reason why this lead was never in doubt or in question.
It really, yeah. I mean, him and Mike Conley together were the two combos that, like, if we don't have either one of those players, this game's a loss for sure, regardless of who the other players are. This is a loss. They made such timely buckets when the Hawks were just starting to kind of get some momentum and just starting to like go into their stride. It was like, oh nope, Kyle Anderson fade away and one. Like, it was just like just perfect plays from them.
Man, it's crazy. Like, John Collins was in the trade deadline kind of, or like, off season kind of like rumors, and like DeJounte Murray was in the rumors, and they kept him, and they got Sadiq Bey and all this stuff, and like here we are. We could have been part of that rumor mill with them, and I think we've exceeded their team. We could have been on the same kind of, and we are kind of probably on very similar, like maybe not trajectories, but like on like paths right now. Like we're still kind of feeling each other out. We have a good identity, but we have like, what are we completely? We don't know 100% know, but like they seem like they're on a downward trajectory, and we're on the up.
Yep, I know.
Not just because of this game, but like just in general.
No, in general, yeah. No, that's what it feels like. It's kind of crazy.
Looking ahead, as we have to, because in the next few days, you're going to be doing solo shows as well as just like their pivotal games against the East. I think we play Boston, right? Philly? No, we already played Philly.
We played Philly. Yeah. What is it? I'll pull up the schedule here so we can all look at it together. If I can figure out how. Let's see. Timberwolves. These. Oh my goodness. The NBA website is going nuts on me right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, we play Boston coming up here.
Levine.
Let's see.
On Friday.
Oh, yeah. So it's kind of weird. The month of March, like the first week, we only had 2 games. This week, we have 4 games. Next week, we only have 2 games. And then the next week, I think we have 4 or something like that. It's kind of funny.
That's a weird one.
But,
yeah,
it's really strange. Let me stop sharing this and share this. Where is it? I don't know how well this is going to present this, but yeah. So we play the Celtics on Wednesday. And I can't remember, were you saying this or was somebody else in the Discord saying this, that we're maybe hitting them at the right time?
No, someone else. That was Big Boy.
That was a big one.
Because they lost tonight to Houston, and Marcus Smart has gone on record saying they've lost their identity and all this other nonsense.
Oh, good. And then, yeah, I saw Marcus Smart do some weird stuff to Trae Young the other night, and that was like, oh man, they're really frustrated. So that could be good. That's good. That's better than I was expecting. I was expecting a blowout loss. May still happen. And is that one? I can't tell from looking at the website. Is that at home? Maybe. It doesn't
so
say
all of this is on the road. All this is on the road. Nope. Boston's at home.
Yeah, Boston's at home. Oh, yep. Yeah. Boston's at home. Chicago away. Toronto away. That's a weird one.
New York
Knicks away. Yeesh.
And then back at home with Atlanta.
Yeah. I'm going to stop sharing. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's all good.
But, yeah. So I guess let's play our game that we normally do. For the next, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4, let's say 5 games. Right, next 5 games. So
Boston, Chicago, Toronto, New York.
And then the Hawks again. What's an acceptable record and what's an unacceptable record?
Unacceptable, I think, is 1-4.
1-4 is really unacceptable. You may fall out of the playoffs if you go 1-4.
Especially because we lost to Brooklyn and Philly.
Yeah. The Brooklyn
those are games we can't make up, but we could have won one of those. I think acceptable and potentially realistic is 2-3.
Yep.
And 3-2, we look great.
Yeah, I think 3-2, you feel pretty good. And you're probably still in or around the 7th seed, maybe even the 6th seed, depending on things go. Because speaking of which, the Suns have made a comeback in the Warriors game. They were down by like 20, and now they're only down by 5 with 2 minutes to go in the third.
Let's go.
That's
good.
Go.
Please, Kogi.
Yeah, go Josh. But yeah, and especially, I mean, obviously, if you go 4-1 or 5-0 somehow, like that's incredible. But I don't expect that. I think 3-2 is okay. 2-3 is a little spooky, but probably okay. You just can't go 1-4. 1-4 is just totally unacceptable because all the other teams are going to go 500 or better. They just are. So
yeah, and 2-3 will keep us 500 through March, and then we play right after Atlanta, and then we play the Warriors. So that's great. Mm-hmm. But I also feel like just like looking at the schedule a little bit, like Boston seems like the right time to play, and then Friday Chicago is not much of a flight, but then Saturday's game against Toronto is a back-to-back. So that might be like a schedule loss. The Knicks are playing really well, but Brunson's out, so like that's in the air. It's also Monday at a random like the time that we play tonight, so I guess maybe that's a good thing. And then Wednesday is back at home, but like we've been kind of skittish at home. You know, we haven't been playing our best.
Yeah, no, we've been weird at home. It's not been as enjoyable as it was. I think earlier in the season we were playing pretty well at home, but now it's like it's just not good. Now, interesting thing, after these 5 games that we were just talking about, it's the last week of March, and it's 3 away games in a row and then a home game. But the schedule, these are this week right there makes the season.
Makes the season. Yeah, because I'm looking at that.
Yeah, you play the Warriors at the Warriors, and then a back-to-back at the Kings. Then on Wednesday you play the Suns, and then on Friday you play the Lakers at home.
Oh my God! And is LeBron coming back?
LeBron is probably back at that point. I don't think KD will be back, will he? Or maybe he will. It was 2 weeks or something. I can't remember. It doesn't matter. That week though is just that decides it all. Because if we go 3-2, awesome over the next 5 games. If we go 2-3, whatever.
It's those 4 games after that.
That decides everything. Yeah. And that's going to be a high stress week.
High stress week. That's gonna be a great week. Regardless, like of our outcome, it's gonna be a great week.
It is gonna be a great week. I'm excited to see I'm just excited for some things to kind of fall into place. I obviously don't want bad things to happen, but like I'd like to this whole season's been way more stressful than it should be because these regular season games just carry so much weight when the standings are so close. Like normally you get excited about wins and then you get like mildly disappointed about losses. You get somewhat disappointed about like multiple losses. But like we were talking about earlier, like one loss feels like you lost 5 games in a row because that's essentially what happens like with all these other teams winning games. Well, that's
every game that we play on the East is like half a game, right? We either win half or lose half.
Yes.
And when we play against the Western teams that we're about to, that's a full game swing either direction.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Like it's insane. It's massive. It's huge. It's epic.
That Warriors game could be a really big one. God, the Warriors and Kings, and then the Lakers.
I might just have to take the whole week off.
Oh my God! I
might have to call in sick.
Well, I will warn you and everyone. It might be a situation like tonight for some of them. I might be a little late, but we will do shows, especially because all these games are just going to matter so much,
Because you are open after all.
Yeah. The games in January and February aren't as important, even though it felt like that. These games truly determine what happens with the season. So we'll be here even if it's late. So ring the bell and subscribe to the Discord, like it says down low. Any final thoughts from you before we leave?
No, great win. Great 48 minutes from our boys. Finch had me at hello today, and I think it was great to see that because this is our expectation. If you cannot play at this level, you're not on the court. Like you have to play and you have to compete at this level. Like the short fuse that Finch had shown with certain players was great because we have no time to waste. Every game, every like kind of possession matters in an extent, and you got to play. You got to play hard. You have to also play for fun. You got to play like this is like not just your job, but this is like your livelihood's on the line. So
yep. Godfrey asks, final thought. I guess this will be the final question of the night. Godfrey says, what are your predictions about Cat coming back? So, Godfrey, I don't remember if you were here or not when we were talking about this a little bit, but predictions, I mean, I guess we didn't predict. We more so voiced our opinions on when he should come back.
Avoided the question.
Yeah, but predictions, the way the team is making it sound right now, it makes it seem like they're going to try to get him back, which just seems so stupid. Unless he can come back like on Wednesday, which guess what? He's not ready for Wednesday. Like he's not ready for Wednesday. He's not ready for this week. He's not ready for next week. So then that means he's coming back in that week that we're talking about against the Warriors, the Kings, the Suns, and the Lakers. No, I don't want that. We have to win those games. So then what? Is he going to come back for the last 4 games of the regular season? That's not enough time.
That's my prediction.
That could happen.
April 2nd, Sunday, April 2nd, 1:30 matinee.
Yeah. Okay. Actually,
Cat comes off the bench for 15 minutes.
For 15 minutes.
Scores 8 points.
And
has 4 fouls.
4 charges. I like that prediction, actually. I put some money on that. But yeah, I guess that'll be our prediction. Cat comes back. I don't agree with this. I just want to be clear. But I don't agree that he should come back then.
Oh, yeah.
But I do agree that I think that this makes sense for a date that he could come back is April 2nd, matinee game at Target Center. I hate it. All right.
Yes. On that
note, go Wolves.
Yeah.
Next game, as we mentioned, is Wednesday at home against the Celtics, who are reeling. And hopefully we can catch a win. That would be a really, really good game to win.
That'll be great.
So we should be back Wednesday, I think, or I will be back Wednesday to at least do a solo show. And
after the next game.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome.
Right.
Well, it was good to see everybody. Good to see you again, Ashwin. And intro is the outro. 42 wins is still possible. We're just lowering the bar as we go. But we will be back Wednesday after a win. Positivity only. Intro is the outro. Bye.